Hello, we are three Bahrain Polytechnic students majoring in transport and logistics. In this video, we are going to present to you a simple comparison between Microsoft Office Access and Microsoft SQL Server. First, we are going to give you a brief description on what they are, and then we'll talk about their history, and finally, we'll do a small comparison between the two. First, we will talk about Microsoft SQL Server.
Microsoft SQL Server is an application used to create computer databases for the Microsoft Windows family of server operating systems. Microsoft SQL Server provides an environment used to generate databases that can be accessed from workstations, the internet, or other media such as personal digital assistants. SQL Server is a relational database management system from Microsoft that's designed for the enterprise environment. SQL Server runs on T-SQL, a set of programming extensions from Sybase and Microsoft that add several features to standard SQL. Microsoft SQL Server 2000 is a significant release because it continues to build upon the framework Microsoft created with SQL Server 7.0. It has become the database of choice for e-business and data warehousing initiatives, and it continues to set the standard for performance, ease of use, and out-of-the-box functionality. It is also a supporting component to the Microsoft Net strategy.
Furthermore, the history of SQL Server.
The original SQL Server code was developed by Sybase in the late 1980s. Microsoft Sybase and Ashton Tate collaborated to produce the first version of the product, SQL Server 4.2 for OS/2. Subsequently, both Sybase and Microsoft offered SQL Server products. Sybase has since renamed their product Adaptive Server Enterprise. In 1988, Microsoft released its first version of SQL Server. It was designed for the OS/2 platform and was developed jointly by Microsoft and Sybase. During the early 1990s, Microsoft began to develop a new version of SQL Server for the network platform. While it was under development, Microsoft decided that SQL Server should be tightly coupled with the network operating system. In 1992, Microsoft assumed core responsibility for the future of SQL Server for the network. In 1993, Windows Network 3.1 and SQL Server 4.2 for network were released. Microsoft's philosophy of combining a high-performance database with an easy-to-use interface proved to be very successful. Microsoft quickly became the second most popular vendor of high-end relational database software. In 1994, Microsoft and Sybase formally ended their partnership. In 1995, Microsoft released version 6.0 of the SQL Server. This release was a major rewrite of the SQL Server's core technology. Version 6.0 significantly improved performance, provided built-in replication, and delivered centralized administration. In 1996, Microsoft released version 6.5 of SQL Server. This version brought significant enhancements to the existing technology and provided several new features. In 1997, Microsoft released version 6.5 Enterprise Edition. In 1998, Microsoft released version 7.0 of SQL Server, which was a complete rewrite of the database engine. In 2000, Microsoft released SQL Server 2000. SQL Server version 2000 is Microsoft's most significant release of SQL servers to date.
And now, a brief intro to Microsoft Office Access.
What is Access? Access is a database tool for gathering and understanding all your information and providing a convenient way to enter, navigate, and report out your data. For example, your mobile numbers, inventory, guest list, and whatever you are trying to track. When do I need access? I need access when I want to keep track of not only who is on my guest list, but where they are staying and any dietary needs. I also need access when I want to be able to collect my contact information accurately from large groups. I also need access when I want a database that is easy to explore my information without training. I also need access when I need to run the same report daily, weekly, or monthly. I also need access when I want to know who my most valuable customers are so I can target my marketing.
Now we will compare between the two. The comparison would be in terms of database size, security, environment, interoperability, backup, and the ease of use. First, the size. SQL Server supports a large capacity of database. However, Access doesn't and starts to slow down when the database capacity reaches 200 megabytes. When it comes to security, SQL Server does not allow access and modifications to anybody. It requires a username and a password. However, access can only be shared through file share and allows modifications and changes from anyone who enters the database. As for the environment, SQL Server is good for a multi-user environment. It has isolation support feature where it reserves the original data even after being modified. On the other hand, Access is not good for a multi-user environment because it doesn't have that feature. So, if anyone changes anything in the database, the original data would be lost. Interoperability-wise, not many people use SQL Server, so you can't guarantee that the person you will send the database to uses the same program. But lots of people use Access, and it's more popular with different type of people. When it comes to ease of use, Access is much more easy to use than SQL Server. SQL Server is far too complicated to use. In addition, when comparing the two programs backup-wise, SQL Server saves a backup copy automatically while the database is being used. However, in Access, you have to back it up the normal way by closing the file, then copying it in another place. Finally, comparing the cost of both programs, Access is considered to be expensive. However, SQL Server is considered to be a good investment when needing a storage space more than 4 GB. And for normal use, a free version is available and called Microsoft Office SQL Service Express. Well, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have a lovely day.